Recording in progress.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Ninjacators' new weekly live event called Profits at Noon. It is noon on the hour. We have just fired up the room to give everyone a chance to trickle in, find that great seat, and get settled. Welcome, everyone. Clinton, Hal, James, Judy, Natine, Perry, Tony. It's great to see all of you. Excellent crew coming together here. Tony, I may have a little echo coming through from one of yours. There we go. I know he and I were just discussing how many devices we have running on our desks. It's quite a sight. But welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute here. To everyone joining us on the simulcast on YouTube, I want to give you a special shout out as well. This applies to everyone in this session. If you have any questions throughout today's session, please feel free to fire away in that chat. We will always make sure we have enough time to go over anything that's on your mind. So don't be shy. There's no such thing as a dumb question here. We love to discuss all of this stuff with you. So we are 1 minute after the hour. I see Hal has shot a little hello to us there in the chat. Much appreciated. It is always good to see you, Hal. I hope you're having a great week. So if you're new to these sessions, I'll keep this quick. This is our weekly live event called Profits at Noon. We are live 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at noon Eastern Time. The goal here is for us to show you the levels that we are stalking for entry across our favorite futures markets and to steer you clear of any surprises, market traps, or news bombs that could be waiting around the corner. So we're going to show you lots of great live analysis today and some actionable levels that you can follow along with us. One note I do have to include today. My name is Nate. Generally, I co-host these sessions with our very own Richard Krugel, who is based in Cape Town. Just over an hour ago, Richard's office building, actually the internet has gone offline at the last possible minute. So unfortunately, Richard is not going to be able to make it today. He will be back in action tomorrow, however, to follow up on Monday's analysis. So in his stead today, we did already have planned for our good friend Tony Edwards of Trader Smarts to be back in the house today with a very special presentation for you. So in lieu of Richard's presence here today, Tony is going to take the reins. He's going to walk you through analysis across all of the markets he covers, which is pretty much the same as what we normally do in these sessions, which has worked out as a great synergy to have him here. So Tony is going to take the reins on that for us today. I'm going to give you just a little bit of brief background on Tony, and I do want to quickly mention that Tony is firing up a brand new group mentoring session Monday of next week. So we'll definitely have some more info on that for you today. We definitely want to encourage you to pursue that. It's a really cool and unique opportunity. And we'll also have some free trial stuff for you, or some low dollar trial stuff from Tony. Lots to look forward to there. So really quickly, if you're new to this, if you haven't seen Tony before, let me give you a quick few notes before he takes over. And I see For a Reason is back with us here on YouTube. It is great to see you. I am glad you are back. We are working to do a supply and demand pro demo for you next week, so we're really looking forward to that. Glad to have you. But back to our good friend Tony Edwards here of Trader Smarts. So Tony is an independent trader based in Seattle, Washington, and for many years, about 20 years if I'm not mistaken, he really specialized in trading the YM E-mini futures contract. Obviously, the landscape changed quite a bit for all of us, not just traders in 2020, but he had begun to gravitate towards trading the ES and has become a religious fanatic of trading the ES ever since, which is always good news for us here in the Ninjacators crowd. He grew up with a noted psychologist who developed multiple personality tests and is credited with bringing modern statistical analysis into the field of psychology. So that was Tony's father. So he grew up with a deep-seated interest in logic and reasoning, and this naturally snowballed into an interest in the financial markets to how they worked. Obviously, Tony was at the age of 14 during the 1987 market crash, and this was kind of one of the early light bulb moments for Tony, where things really registered in his interest, and the intersection of some of those interests afforded by his father's expertise kind of came together. And so in 1994, at the age of 21, he wrote his personal mission statement that he sticks to and stands by to this day, to trade on small short-term price fluctuations for monthly income and to reinvest a percentage of that income in long-term growth companies for capital appreciation. So obviously, you know, circumstances, markets, things have changed, but his core vision is still intact. And all these years later, he is incorporating futures and options as an integral part of this plan and adhering to that mission statement with multiple trading accounts. So everything he's going to show you today, everything he's going to share with you today, this is all his personal analysis. These are his personal trades. He's not going to show you anything that he is not doing or actively involved with himself. So it's very cool. We are 5 minutes after the hour here. So I am going to bring Tony in now to fire up this session, and I will check in again for any Q&A as we get through this, but please feel free to fire away in the chat at any point. I will be manning that. I'm happy to chat with you. So yeah, without further ado, Mr. Tony Edwards of Trader Smarts, if you would, sir, come in and take the reins for us and lead us today.
Awesome. Thanks, Nathan. Happy to be here.
You got it. Happy to have you.
So first of all, risk disclaimer. You read this: futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than their initial risk capital. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All right, so with that, you know, in lieu of Richard not being here, I thought we would just take a look at the seven markets that I cover. So I do analysis for 7 futures markets: the YM, ES, NQ, 6E, CL, and GC, as well as RTY. I'm personally trading ES and CL mostly these days. I trade on an intraday basis. So for the most part, I'm flat at the end of the session. And my time frame intraday is, just to give you some background, very small for execution. So I trade both ES and CL. My execution chart is a 128 tick chart. So I'm really drilling down into like the night details of what's taking place on the far right side of the screen. So the far right edge, and using my 128 tick. So it's very fast. And so I'm using price action as well as my analysis that I do the night before for myself as well as clients to make these trading decisions. So here's the format that I was going to go through today. We're going to look at all of those markets. We'll start with just a monthly chart. There's not going to be anything on the chart, just what you see here. So it's just going to be a monthly chart. We'll drill down to a weekly, take a quick look at the daily. Then we'll go to my indicator, where you'll see the levels and the analysis that I do every day. It will be visually plotted on the chart. And we'll take a look at these same markets over maybe, like, say, the last 20 days. So you can kind of see how this works, drilling us into where we are right now and kind of what to expect going forward. Sound good? I can't hear you guys, so I'll just assume that it is. Any questions that you have along the way, just go ahead and type them in the chat. I can see the chat, and I will try to answer them in real time. Yeah, happy for this to be as interactive as possible. So it's a lot more fun if we're answering questions and talking about things versus me just talking.
Sure, and everything looks and sounds good on my end, by the way. And again, I will be in that chat as well, so please feel free to fire away. It looks like we do have some feedback coming through already, Tony.
Cool. Yeah. So the 128 tick chart is the number of look back days is not super relevant. What's relevant to me, so it will be this trading session that I'm in. I look back at prior days to see what's taken place, get an idea of what is likely to come. But during my intraday trading, I'm usually looking at part of the day's screen because, again, I'm using 128 tick chart, so it's it's taking up a good amount of space to produce that chart. I also have, so I trade with 1, 6, 7 screens. So I have, other larger time frame charts that I look at for, I would call them my anchor charts. But on my execution screen, I just have my order dome. I have 2 different 128 tick charts, and then from the same provider. And then I have another 128 tick chart from a different platform. And one of those is using aggregated data, and 2 of them are not using aggregated data. So the chart that's using aggregated data, even though it's the same 128 tick chart, it's still slower than the 2 charts that are not using aggregated data. If that makes sense. So right now we're looking at the YM monthly chart. And you can just see we had been in this uptrend coming into COVID. We had this COVID sell-off. And then we had this move back up. We had kind of this wall of worry climb up here, put in a high, we retraced, put in like a high again, a new low. Now we're retraced back up and we're essentially going flat line. We had this dip back down into this consolidation. Just answering this question in the chat. So I trade ES and CL is what I'm trading on an intraday basis mostly. That's really all I'm trading these days. I do analysis for 7 markets for YM, ES, NQ, 6E, CL, and GC. So I provide analysis for other traders that I have as clients. But personally, I'm just trading ES and CL. Just take this down to a weekly, and really see the same thing. The COVID sell-off, recovery, put in a high, retracement, and now a new, a swing low, and now a flat line with its dip down into this consolidation. And we're kind of trading sideways. YM has been fairly, compared to RTY is strong, NQ is fairly strong, ES is flatlining right around 4150, and YM is somewhat weaker. So just go to a daily. We won't spend too much time on these. But here's the updating here. Go to a daily. And here was this swing pivot low, swing pivot high. You had this dip down in the consolidation and then flatlining. But again, YM trading lower. So we have this low here. We have I should put a crosshairs on here. Do this real quick. So, just looking at price action, we have this low in line with this high, in line with this low, in line with this low. My expectation overall in equity, just because we put in a low and now we're essentially trading sideways, is that it's trying to test higher, right? The most recent move is from a low to a high. So that's what price is trying to do, is move up. So it's moving up to try to find sellers. And we tested in these, so these highs are into this consolidation, and now we're putting in a low. So really, like this area right here, 3,300, just call it, is a clear over under for coming back into this consolidation and then gunning for this low, versus coming into like these consolidations right here to right here. And obviously, if we get over this, let's call it like 33,830 area, then I would suspect we gun for this high and can still continue to gun for this high and this high and just keep trying to keep making new highs. So let's see, do I want to go from YM to my analysis chart of YM, or should we go through every market on a monthly, weekly, daily, and then drill down? What do you think, Nathan? Let's go through every market. Sure. On a bigger picture, and then we'll drill down.
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute myself in a couple of places just to jump in and answer.
No worries.
But no, that works for me. I love it. Let's get the big picture view.
Yeah. So, yes, monthly. Pulling in a lot of data. If this take that long here. So, ES monthly, it's really the same thing, except you can see on the far right edge of the screen, we are stronger in ES than we were in YM, trading at the high of the range. So our COVID sell-off, our push up, and then our retrace. And now we've retraced, put in the low, and we're attempting to push back up. We won't spend a ton of time on this, just going through and getting a high level overview of what's taking place. COVID sell-off, this long move up, series of lower lows, finally put in a lower low. And this high right here at 4,400 still has not been taken, but we keep bumping up against this 4,200 area. When we go to my analysis chart, you'll see that we have a 4190 MTS number. So there's different levels of analysis. The MTS numbers that I've produced are macro numbers. So this is areas that we can expect larger time frame participants to be active. And every time we've bumped up to this 41.90, it's been met with sellers. There's also another one that's up at 42.24 a quarter. And my expectation in ES is that this sideways price action, right? So let's go to a daily. Is that this sideways price action that we've been in really since the beginning of April is going to ultimately be met with buyers that push us up at least into this 24 quarter. So we're at least right into here, which would be in line with these prior highs. Just looking at price action itself, since we put in this low, slightly higher low, we've come up and we've really been having this kind of like megaphone formation. And 2 times we've dipped down right here and right here. The first time we dipped down, we went straight back to a new high over this consolidation. And then we pretty much dipped right back down and tested it, made a slightly lower high, and then right back into the heart of this consolidation. So this is really coiling right here against 41.50 over the last week, whatever it's been, really coiling. And my expectation is this likely breaks higher up into, and my target would be initially the 41.90. Since the 41.90 MTS number has been tested, I'm expecting that to go when we get back up there. And I'm expecting up into 42.24 quarter. I'll show you this on the TS trade plan analysis chart in just a minute here. Let's just go through the other 5 markets real quick. You can see when we dip down, it's drawing the cursor back. We tested right into this high, against these highs. So really, we're looked down for buyers, found them, and then came right back up. Unable to go higher, checked for buyers, found them, checked for buyers again, found them, and now just consolidation. Let's look at NQ. Type this in. So drill down again. We're waiting for this to load. Just talk a little bit about this small group mentoring program that I have coming up on May 22nd. So you can get this analysis. I think Nate can put a link in the chat. That will go to an offer that I've created for Ninjacators and to get like some extra things, etc. We'll talk about it in a minute. But if you want to work more directly with me, we'll be in Zoom meetings. We'll be looking at live markets daily. So I'm trading the US cash open to the European close. It's really like a one-on-one almost opportunity to work with me to improve your trading, to kind of see where there's deficiencies, see what needs to be fixed, eliminate errors, kind of ratchet up into the next level of where you guys may want to be. So monthly ES again looks similar. We had this little dip down for COVID, push up, like sorry, NQ push up, down, and now it's trying to push highs. And you can see compared to RTY, compared to YM, RTY, compared to YM, NQ is stronger, RTY is strong as well. Just look at the weekly, just look through these little bits so we can get into the analysis. If you're interested in participating in the small group, we've done 2 of them now. The second one is just wrapping up. You can go to the website, just email me, and I will send you the link to the sign up page. It just tells a little more about it, etc. So NQ, again, we've had this push up and consolidating, and NQ is already breaking higher. So my expectation, like I said, for ES is it will ultimately break higher as well, like NQ is doing. So NQ is almost in this like upward wedge type of formation. And obviously it's going to keep going up. We talked about the last profits noon, it's going to keep going up until it's met with sellers that have a greater force in this market than buyers. Right now, clearly buyers are in control, pushing price higher. All right, we got 4 more markets to zip through. Which EY. So RTY, this big.
Hey, Tony, not to cut in. I just want to really quickly over on YouTube. I know you can't see that chat coming through. We
Yeah,
did have a request, and I'm pretty sure we're getting to this just shortly, but we're getting a request to see that indicator.
yeah, absolutely. We will show that.
Awesome. Okay.
I will show that indicator. Let me just
Awesome.
look
If you're
at
over on YouTube,
RTY,
just hang
6E,
tight.
CL, and GC real quick.
Great. As soon as we get through these top-down analysis right here, we're going to dive into that indicator. So just hang tight for us.
Yeah. So here's, RTY. RTY is really in this tighter consolidation range. Not much to say about it, or these lows are holding this consolidation. So I'm always looking, if you look back at previous profits at noon. So I went through over multiple days a series of 7 setups that I actually used to execute my trades. You'll see a lot of them have to do with consolidations. So here's our weekly, right? And daily, and really just in this tight range, trading at the lows of this range. My expectation for RTY is that as ES and these other markets break higher, the RTY will probably likely break out of this range that we're in from to the upside as well. And the first significant level that I would be looking at once we clear like 1800 is around 1870. You can just kind of see it across. It's kind of hard to see here why I choose 1870, but 1870 you'll see in a minute here when I pull up the indicator is a significant level that, in my opinion, likely wants to be tested from below. All right, let's just look at 3 more markets and then we'll go to the indicator itself. 6E. So euro, US dollar. And these markets that we're looking at right now are all markets that I do the TS trade plan analysis for. So 6E is kind of putting in this rounded top up here, just took this high, coming back into test. If I finally hit switch. So go back to, okay, so looking at monthly, clear downtrend, coming back in to test this low. I don't have a ton of expectations for 6E. 6E is tended to follow gold quite a bit. So if that's the case, and my expectation for gold is that gold wants to trade lower from here, then that would probably be in line with 6E trading lower as well, and also in line with this whole downtrend that we're in 6E. So we'll go from 6E to gold, and then we'll look at oil last. Here's what we were just looking at a minute ago. So we kind of put in this rounded top on the daily, took out this high by just a little bit, and now rolling over. Obviously, there's going to be in this consolidation that you can see here, buyers will probably like to try to defend this. But if we can break down below this low and then sustain and then check back into the consolidations in this zone right here from above, kind of what I'm anticipating, then that would lead to lower prices in 6E as well. So let's look at gold, oil, and then we'll go to the indicator. If there's any questions about anything what we're looking at now, the indicator itself, the analysis, actually how you can get started, or the small group mentoring program that's starting on Monday, May 22nd, go ahead and put those in the chat. We'll try to answer those in real time here. So, gold had this push.
Awesome. I do have another question from YouTube, Tony. Sorry to cut you off.
Cool. No, it's awesome.
That's actually, and that question came through at the exact same time as the prior. So I do apologize that slipped right by me for a reason. We'll jump on that right now. Cool. So what he wanted to know, he said, if you see a chart pattern like head and shoulder with points down for a possible buy, is it followed by consolidation? Can the market continue to go up or down?
See a chart pattern like a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish pattern,
which points down for a possible buy, but is followed by a consolidation. Can the market continue to go up or down?
So, like, just draw a theoretical head and shoulders. I mean, this isn't head and shoulders, obviously, but just say it is. So let's say this was the right shoulder, and then this was the head, right? And then this was the left shoulder, and this was the head that was higher, and then this was the right shoulder, and then we're sitting here. So just understand the question correctly. you're saying if we consolidate here versus actually go down, could we continue to go higher? That's the question.
Yeah, for a reason. If that seems, if we're on the right track with your question, just fire away in the chat and let us know. Or if we need to clarify too, we're happy to do so.
Yeah, like I mean, just my general view of chart patterns themselves, head and shoulders, double tops, pennants, wedges, all these things, is that sometimes they play out and then sometimes they don't. I'm not a chart pattern trader, so I don't tend to put a lot of weight in those things. I think that everyone's going to see them. Anybody that was worth their salt in trading is going to see that pattern taking place. But just because that pattern is there, oftentimes does not mean that it's going to play out in the direction of the pattern. So I just personally don't give a lot of credence to that kind of thing.
And for the record, we are on the right track with his question too.
Okay. Yeah. So, weekly gold, we have a series so far of 3 lower highs. And my expectation for gold really is that this low, and this is ways away, but this low is going to ultimately be taken before we start breaking out, which is counter to what a lot of traders that I know are anticipating. Again, I'm not trading gold right now. I'm not a long-term trader. My executions are intraday. So however this plays out is kind of irrelevant to me. But if I had to, gun to my head, if I had to make a call, I would say that gold wanted to trade lower. Let's look at oil, and then let's go to the indicator. So when we see the indicator, we'll really be able to drill down into where we're at right now, what price it's doing, and I think it'll be kind of cool for you guys to check out what I'm looking at. So oil, let's load. Come on. Too much data here. Oil chart is no longer, there we go. So here's oil monthly. This is when we went negative in oil back in COVID. And we had this huge push back up right into the prior consolidation. And then we've sold off and we're finding buyers. We're pretty much ahead of this consolidation. If you scroll out, you'll see oil's really been in like its channel here. So, oil's been in this channel right here between, call it like 81.5 and the low 70s, 72, 73. And we dipped below here. Then we had this gap up, this gap filled. Let's look at it in daily in a second. This gap filled, made a new low, and now we're trading kind of in the middle of it. Just look at it daily, and then let's go to the indicator. Here's this channel that we were talking about, like 83s to 72 halves, call it 73s. So this 10-point channel that we broke under, gapped above, sold off, made a new low, and now right back into hitting in the bottom of this channel right here, right? So this test back into the bottom of the channel. So the question in oil is obviously, are we going to find sellers at the bottom of this channel that we've been in? Kind of call it like 70, probably find up to like 75 half into 74, really. So do we check back into here and find sellers and then roll back over? If we do, then we could be targeting this low and likely lower. Or do we get inside this channel and then we're just trading sideways still? Kind of like the 2 possibilities that I'm seeing playing out. All right, let's take a look at the indicator now. So we're going to first look at this very large chart. So I pulled in a ton of data just so we can look at ES. So this is ES, it's an hourly chart. This is what the indicator looks like. So the analysis comes in a written format like this, right? And there's 3 zones when the session starts. There's 3 zones on each side of the market, or we can stalk trades against, and as well as target trades too. So there's range long, highest odds long, extreme long, the line in the sand, which is a decider of immediate direction for that day, and then range short, highest odds short, and extreme short. So this is like, I pulled in about 20 days of data. You can see we're really just consolidating here right in the middle around this 4140, 4150 area, and unable to get any price action, price direction outside of this, really waiting on debt ceiling news and something fundamentally to take place to shift this action outside of this range, right? So like we talked about Monday, I think it was, an object in motion is going to remain in motion or motionless, which is kind of what we're doing until it's met with a greater force, just going back to Newton's laws of motion. So my expectation, what I've been saying, is that we would find buyers. So we've been finding buyers these last 3 days against range long. It's kind of hard to see, but finding buyers these last 3 days against range long. We found the sellers yesterday at range short, Monday just above. We found sellers into range short this morning, pushed down to a higher low, and now we're pushing highs right back to 4150. So ultimately, here's the 4190 MTS number that I mentioned, on this initial test into it. So MTS number again is a macro area that has macro significance. So especially on first tests like this, I would expect them to be met by a greater force of selling. So that's kind of what happened here back on April 30th. We pushed into the MTS number, found sellers at that day's range short, closed under the MTS number, and then on this following day, found sellers right against the MTS number at 4190 quarter and had this flushing down move. The low of this whole consolidation we're in right now came on May 4th when we found buyers right at highest odds long, that pushed us right back up into this 4150 where we've really been trading ever since. So sometime over the next, we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days now. Today's the 8th day of really tight consolidation. Probably, it's hard to put a time frame on it. It's going to happen whenever it happens, but the market is clearly looking for a catalyst to get out of this range. And again, my expectation is that it will likely be up to the upside, just based on the fact that what we're really doing is flagging. If you look at a daily chart, we're really flagging sideways after pushing higher. So my expectation is that it's going to be towards the upside. And this, you can see this block of short execution target zones that's been defended every time we've come up into this. I'd
Recording
drill
in
down
progress.
to this short of a time frame. I'm not going to just sit there and fire off, stupid trades just to execute, just for the purpose of executing. But if I see something setting up, I'm going to execute the trade. What do we want to talk about now?
Hey, Tony. So I don't know if you noticed, but I was gone for a few minutes, so I apologize. Looks like it was my turn for internet problems. My modem just completely shut itself off, and all the internet in the house went off all at once. So I do apologize, and unfortunately that means our YouTube stream went down.
Okay.
And we had some guys over there. I was in the process of answering a question about your indicator. So we definitely will want to follow up with our YouTube folks. I am trying to repair that stream right now to see if we can catch any of those folks.
Okay, cool. It's just taking this into it the last few days. 5-minute chart. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm happy to look at any markets you want to look at. We can look at any of those 7 that I just talked about. If you want to, I guess, put it in the chat, I'll pull up that market. Or if there's any more questions, or I could talk a little bit about the offer that I have for you guys right now. I could talk a little bit more about the small group mentoring that's starting on the 22nd. You guys want to see? Here, let's do this. Let's do this.
Looks like we are back on YouTube.
All right,
Good
cool.
news. So we had a
Good.
couple questions. These guys actually, somebody was asking about, do we have to be in the group to purchase the indicator? Just wanting to know more about the indicator. So that was what I was in the process of following up, which is perfect segue here, which you're about to show and share with them. And really exciting stuff with some of the fees you're going to waive on that indicator. So I'll get out of your way. I'll make sure this link is in the chat for everybody. But yeah, Tony, tell them what this trial involves. And then, yeah, let's talk about that group mentoring again.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So before I get to the trial is what you're seeing right here. Again, if you're interested in the group mentoring, it's a 4-week program. You're going to be working with me directly. We'll be on Zoom. We'll be covering live markets from the European open to the cash, or the cash open to the European close. There's a ton of other cool things that we go over as well. I go over my entire execution chart. I go over my anchor charts. I go over pretty much everything, so you have context of where I'm coming from. And then more importantly, you'll fill out a trader intake form. I'll kind of see where you're at and what you need to work on. And then once we go through context and you have an idea of where my context is when I'm trading, then I really delve into working with the individual traders in that group to improve what they need to work on so that they can level up their trading and kind of start to either A, achieve the results that you're looking to have, or B, like perfect the already good results that you're maybe getting, right? So there's always room for improvement. And we're in the middle of the second one right now. We're just wrapping it up. So this is going to be the third one that I've started. And I'm just really enjoying working with traders on a one-on-one basis and seeing like the light bulbs go off and just seeing the improvement that's taking place. It's pretty cool stuff. So with the small group mentoring, you will get access to every market that I trade. You'll get a free, well, it's not free, but it's included in the price of the mentoring. You'll get a free lifetime license to a multi-platform license to the indicator. And you'll get data for all of those markets, like I said, in the analysis for the life of the class. So there's that. If you're interested in learning more, just email me, or you can send me a DM on Twitter and I will send you the link to that small group page. What we're looking at right here is just a trial that I put together for Ninjacators customers and clients. And what you're getting here is you're getting access to all the markets. So you're getting a 2-week trial to just check it out, get access to all the markets, $97. The normal price of that is $347. It will rebill, just know this, at $347 a month after the 2 weeks. So, and you're also getting, for the life of the subscription, you're getting access to the indicator as well. So the indicator license is normally $397 for a single platform, so like just for NinjaTrader, or $597 if you're using, say, NinjaTrader and Sierra charts or whatever. Or you can lease it for $97 a month. You're getting that free for the life of the subscription with this trial. And I get in situations where people trade ES maybe and like NQ,
Sure.
but they want to check out all of the instruments. So just go ahead and sign up for the trial. You'll get access to all the instruments, and then you can cancel the trial. Just email me and say, hey, I signed up for the trial. I wanted to check everything out, but I'm really only trading ES or whatever it is. And then I will go ahead and transfer that license over to the new single instrument subscription. So if that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, no, makes great sense. And thank you again, Tony, for making this available to our audience. Again, you won't find this anywhere else. So this is exclusive to the audience here in these sessions. So we do encourage you to check that out. Take advantage of this. Very cool stuff. As he mentioned, waiving the fee on that indicator, really giving you a chance to get in, sandbox, check out all of his services, and again, give you the opportunity to whittle it down or expand based on your needs. So that's awesome right there. And then in addition to that, of course, this group mentoring he has mentioned, we have a question coming through over on YouTube. What day and time are your classes held?
So the next session is starting on Monday, May 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll we'll look at live markets. So the schedule varies, right? Every week it's going for 4 weeks, but generally we're going to be trading live from the US cash open to the European close. That's my active trading period. Mm-hmm. And then we'll spend other time in Zoom meetings looking at things like, well, pretty much it's designed to focus on what the traders in the group need to work on. So when you sign up, you're going to get sent a trader intake form that's going to give me an idea of where this group needs to focus. And then we'll design things specifically to help the group improve those things.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting started here next Monday. will be the first day for the new group mentoring group. So if you want to get in on that, again, it is kind of time sensitive because he's firing up the next one next week starting Monday. This is actually a great follow-up question. I'm glad you asked this as well over on YouTube. Are these classes recorded?
Yes, all the Zoom meetings are recorded. You'll have full access to that.
Perfect. Yeah, because it's sometimes it's easier said than done lining up two people's schedules. So when you get a group together, sometimes people have stuff going on. It's great to have that option to know you won't miss anything. You'll have all that stuff on hand. So that's excellent and great to hear.
Yeah, and it's also cool to be able to go back and review them. Like I know a lot of people in this current class have not just participated in the live sessions, but
Sure.
are getting a ton of value of going back and reviewing what we've covered.
Certainly, and that extends especially here on YouTube. We are posting all of these sessions go into a playlist on our YouTube channel. It's a Profits at Noon playlist. So if at any point you do want to review today's session, for instance, if you want to go back and check out some of Tony's analysis again or recap, this will be in that YouTube playlist as soon as the stream is wrapped up. So if for any reason you want to check it out again, we want to make that available to you. So excellent. Well, we do
Awesome.
want to leave some more room for Q&A if anybody else has any more questions for Tony. We do have Tony coming back tomorrow. We're fortunate this week to have Tony for 3 days. So I do want to thank you again, Tony, for your time, for sharing your valuable insights with us. It is greatly appreciated, not just by us here at Ninjacators. I'm sure our audience and there's definitely an uptick in engagement and interest when you come on deck. So thank you again.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. And along those lines, if you are interested in some of the things that I've talked about prior, like Nathan just said, all those sessions have been recorded. You can find them on YouTube.
Sure thing. And one thing we like to do as well in the title of these videos when they're over on YouTube is we like to put in parentheses, if we do have a guest or a tool spotlight, just so you can differentiate between the sessions if it's a normal analysis session or not. So anytime we've had Tony, that is included in the title. So it should be pretty easy for you to navigate that playlist and see anytime Tony has been with us. Tony first came on board in March, I believe it was, and shared a slew of great setups with us. So there could be a situation in the future where we have an encore with some of that as well. But in the meantime, yes, we do encourage you to check that out. And of course, encourage you to hit this link that we've shared, Tony's trial link. I will drop that one more time. Perry, thank you so much for joining us. We're very glad to hear you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback for us, any requests for future sessions, this extends to everyone here. Feel free to fire away in the chat in these sessions or to reach out to our support to give us a call. We're always here, happy to discuss. We always have an open ear. So we really love to inform these sessions based on what you guys are loving, what you need, what you'd like to see. So, in the vein of that, as mentioned earlier, we are working on a demo for the Supply and Demand Pro next week. So we'll be back to some Ninjacators tool spotlights, but that was one of our requests here over on YouTube. So we do follow up on those requests. Just want to put that out there.
Here we have NQ coming into range short. Big gap zone here from range long into range short. It's happening in real time right here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get a little action in these sessions, huh? Very cool. Well, I think we're getting close here to wrapping up for today's session. Again, thanking everyone that's involved, everyone, Tony, the audience. Just love spending time with all of you. We do have a quick note here for a reason. Who requested the Supply and Demand Pro wants to know, I am from Europe. Will the indicator work the same? So this is actually a great question because it's a different time zone. Exactly. Richard, our good buddy Richard, who will be back in the house tomorrow, he's located over in Cape Town, South Africa. So he has actually done some behind the scenes bug testing to ensure there are no, and we have caught a few and corrected them over these last few months, just with time zone differences, just little things that could affect your chart or your workflow. So Richard is going to be a great source of knowledge for you on this. And we'll even see maybe about bringing Kyle Kinney into play or sourcing. He's also been using that for many years. So we'll definitely be able to answer those questions for you. Take a look under the hood, get our hands dirty. Awesome. So it looks like we did have another question wanting to know what indicator was on the screen here just a second ago as we were looking at the NQ. I think we had a sound cut out real quick.
Okay, yeah, so this is the TS trade plan indicator. So what it does is it's taking this written analysis that I do every session for my own trading. I mean, I'm trading only ES and CL, right? But I do analysis for these 7 other markets that I follow, and I have clients that trade these markets. So this written analysis is being taken and plotted onto your chart. So you can see, like for today, our range long zone was this 13,477 to 13,472 quarter right here. And it takes the written analysis, it plots it onto your chart. It's available for NinjaTrader, Sierra Charts, TradeStation, eSignal, multicharts.net, various platforms. So it takes the written analysis, it visually plots it onto your chart for you. So it makes it easy to see. You can see this range short is this number right here, 13,594 quarter. So, and then obviously the line in the sand is 503. What it's saying is, when we come into the session, this is the main decider of direction, over under. So resolving above this, we want to be targeting our long trades up to range short. Resolving below this, we want to be targeting down to range long. If buyers are able to defend range long, which they obviously had here in this session, and then push over the line in the sand. So we had 2 tests of range long, looks like a slightly higher low, and then resolve over the line in the sand. Like all of those long trades, their potential target is here. So like all you're wanting to do is use this as, and so that's why they're called execution target zones, right? A lot of people only hear execution zones. And so they're only looking to like sell here or buy here. But really in trading, you want to try to have your trades run as far as they can, as far as the potential that they can. That's why these are execution target zones. So any long that you're putting on down here, you're targeting up to here, right? You're targeting up to here. So if you're covering or if you're selling ahead of there, you're not capturing the true potential of the trade. That's how you would use this. And then again, like, so right now we're coming in here. Like the context of this day is we've been in huge balance. First of all, we've been in a huge balance, and now we're really, NQ has been stronger than ES. If you look across markets, YM is trading at highs right now. RTY is trading at highs right now. ES is trading, breaking out of this balance that we've had, just not very much, but we're trading 41.61, So buyers are in control right here. Like buyers are in control and they're pushing up. We talked about this yesterday with law motion. So that's this important thing to keep in mind is that these are execution target zones, and let your trades run so you can capture that larger move.
Beautiful. And that makes great sense, Tony. That's beautiful. Cool. And the feedback here over on YouTube, I like it. Extra confirmation regarding where price is going. And I agree 100%. So fantastic. I'm glad we're able to kind of revisit that as well and clarify. But yeah, we're going to wrap in just a second here, guys. We maybe have time for another question. We do have to get out of here before the top of the hour. And then, of course, I'll ask Tony for any parting wisdom. And as of now, I'm going to roll out our dad joke of the day. I see Jackie is with us. Jackie, I'm, sometimes when you're not here, I'm unsure of whether to unleash the dad joke, but I know that you will grunt and groan appropriately in response. So I tell you what, let me come back on camera and really take responsibility for this joke and own up to it. We'll drop it in the chat. If you're new to this is just a little fun thing we do on the way out the door, a terrible pun or a dad joke as they're known more colloquially. So here we go. Why did the tomato turn red? Tony, I'll give you first crack.
Why did the tomato turn red? Let's see. Why did the tomato turn red? He was embarrassed that something with tomato sauce. I don't know. I don't have a good one for that.
You're in the right neighborhood. You're in the right neighborhood. So why did the tomato turn red? Last chance for an answer here. The tomato turned red because it saw the salad dressing. Oof, that one was painful. I think that was worse than our normal dad joke. The tomato turned red because it's also kind of racy. It saw the salad dressing.
Oh, so dressing. Okay, I got it. Okay.
So you heard it here first. Excellent. And then on our way out the door here, again, if you have any follow-up questions, you want to check out these replays, we mentioned that. Jackie, appropriate reaction. I love it. Feel free to follow up with us on our various support channels, and we'll be glad to follow up. Again, Richard will be back tomorrow, so I'd love to see everybody back for the follow-up. follow-up session to close out the week tomorrow at noon Eastern. But now, as we're on the way out the door, Tony, I'll just give you a shot for any parting wisdom, a brilliant summation of everything you've shared with us today. No pressure.
Yeah, well, I mean, parting wasn't one, I guess. I'll give two parts, so I have to give the second part. But parting wasn't one. It just kind of goes back to what I was saying a second ago, which is really let your trades run to where they can go. I mean, you can see here with ES, when we are breaking over range short, the target becomes the next execution target zone. So like you can see, we finally get this breakout consolidation, and it's just really straight off to the races. And obviously, here's where we're targeting. So like just learn to let your trades run and not close them too soon.
Sure.
And that's going to make a significant difference in your bottom line in your trading account.
Sure. And Richard would agree 100%.
Yeah, parting wisdom just goes back to risk. This is trading. Manage your risk on every trade. My number one rule is anything can happen at any time, and it probably will. So, for example, right now we get some type of news that completely reverses this whole entire thing, and we're way down here. Like that's possible, not likely, but it's possible. So just always manage your risk on every trade.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And that's solid advice, and we stand by it. And again, Richard will be back tomorrow, as well as Tony Edwards. So thank you again, Tony. We look forward to rounding out the week with you tomorrow. We hope to see all of these beautiful faces back with us on Zoom and YouTube. A quick note to our YouTubers, if you'd like to join us directly in the Zoom sessions here in the VIP bottle service section, there is a link directly below the video here on YouTube. Tony's link is also embedded there as well. So if you need to come back for his link, but there's also a link you can register, join us right in Zoom, and get reminders when we go live. So if that's something you'd like to do, we'd love to have you. But again, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and we will see you all again tomorrow for the next Profits at Noon session at noon Eastern time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Nate.